Alrighty, welcome back to another segment of the 50-50 show. I'm, of course, your host, Omair. This is my co-host, Omar. Next, we'll be talking about the 76ers taking on the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets absolutely blow out the Sixers in embarrassing fashion. One moment. Sorry about that. Denver Nuggets destroy the 76ers in an embarrassing blowout behind Nikola Jokic's dominant triple-double 27-point performance. The question we're asking now, and I want to ask you, Omar, can the Sixers make the playoffs?
Yes. The Sixers can make the playoffs because the East is just that easy. They're the 11th seed right now, but they've been on an upswing. You know, at the beginning, they were playing at like Wizards or New Orleans Pelicans levels, unable to win a single game. But I think Tyrese Maxey and Paul George have finally figured out how to stay on the floor together and then how to actually win some games. They're not very good, but I have them above teams like the Hawks, and they can beat the Brooklyn Nets of the world. And I think they'll be able to sneak into the play-ins where I think they're a threat, especially if Joel Embiid is fine by then. This game, I mean, they got absolutely blown out. They lost in 3 quarters. The bench units for both teams played the entire 4th quarter. It started out pretty close. I mean, they were blitzing Paul George, but he was getting out of it. He was passing. He was getting good shots. Tyrese Maxey was efficient throughout the whole game, 28 and 10 on efficient shooting. I was really happy to see that.
I mean, only 30% from 3, though. Is that efficient to you?
Yeah, I mean, when you're taking step-back threes, you're taking contested threes, I think it's okay. But overall, I think he was 50% from the field. And he had a good plus-minus for how badly they lost. So, because my biggest critique of Tyrese this year is that when he's the third option or the second option, I rate him really, really highly. But he showed that he was not ready for the first option capabilities and responsibilities because he was shooting like 30% from the field, 35% from the field at the beginning of this year. So I think he's doing better in that regard. The biggest issue on this team is and has been and will continue to be Kelly Oubre Jr., who is a Shaden Sharp level player, bench guy, G League level player.
Shaden Sharp, he's a solid player. He should be getting more minutes in Portland too.
Shaden Sharp is trash, and they finally benched him because they realized even Scoot Henderson's better than him. And
Scoot Henderson should get more minutes too, actually.
Bless me.
Bless you. God bless you.
Yeah, God looking out for me because I have to sit next to that. I'm allergic to BS. You already know what it is. Hey, so let's stick to it. Kelly Oubre Jr. really bad. Andre Drummond really bad. Wasn't able to get rebounds this game. Jokic absolutely dominated him. But Kelly Oubre Jr., man, just atrocious. Early in the first quarter, gives up a super easy rebound to Christian Braun, who then proceeds to like dunk it on him, and he's not even moving. Super sad. And then I think later on, near the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, pretty much he's in the exact same spot. This time he's just trailing behind MPJ, gives up the offensive board to MPJ, who puts back. So that's 4 points right there. That's 2 major rebounds. You know, I don't know that there's a stat that really measures that. You can be a not great rebounder, but it's something else to be a guy who just stands near the paint and then doesn't get the critical rebounds, gives them over to the opposition, and really helps them get on that run. Because I think if those 2 offensive rebounds don't go, Philly was fine. They were keeping it competitive, but those kind of buckets, they really killed the morale of the team. But obviously, the number one issue this game was just they have no response for Jokic because Embiid has been ducking that smoke for about 3.5 years. Yep. Really sad. I mean, I believe he's injured. Don't get me wrong. I think he's injured right now, and I think he's been injured often. But I definitely don't think he's been injured every time that he's dodged this matchup. And it is what it is. Yabusele, he got hot from 3. He shot like 4 of 6 from 3, which is not normal for him. And it still didn't matter. Andre Drummond just couldn't rebound. Kelly Oubre Jr. just utterly, I regret every minute I watched him play. Pleasantly surprised by Tyrese Maxey. Paul George is fine. He's doing fine. Eric Gordon, fine. I see a lot of people hating on Eric Gordon, saying he's old, saying he's not like cutting it. I thought he was fine. Like I just don't know what you guys want. Like he's not fine if all you do is look at the points tab of your box score, and he's not fine if all you
can't put the ball in the basket.
You know, he can put he got some points, but it's like he's doing the little things. He's making the hockey passes. He's screening. Like I just don't see that he's doing anything particularly wrong. Like when you're a team fighting for 8th seed, to have Eric Gordon on your team, I think is perfectly acceptable, and he's probably a little overqualified for that. Like, he's not overqualified to be a starter, but he's definitely overqualified to be a bench player on that bad of a team.
I think he's right where he needs to be. I don't think he's overqualified.
No, he's overqualified.
Definitely not.
But the issue for this team is just the struggle for offense. And that first quarter, they were just missing every transition layup. So they gave up 18 transition points to Denver in the first quarter. But like Nick Nurse said in his interview, it's just they weren't making anything. So now you're missing your 2 points, and then Denver gets to just run out, right? Because you missed, and you're behind them. So I thought that was the biggest deal, and I put a lot of that blame on Kelly Oubre Jr. I put some on Andre Drummond. Paul George was okay. I really have nothing. I mean, in general, I think people have been hating on Paul George too much. This game, I just don't have much to say. But he's still fine. I don't like any of his comments about being bored. That's weird.
Yeah, he's bored playing the center.
Yeah. I don't know what to say to that because ultimately I have Paul George. I rate him really, really highly. Like, I'm going to list a couple of players that will make you guys mad, but he's better than Cade Cunningham. He's better than De'Aaron Fox. I have him over Tyrese Halliburton. Let's name some wings. I got him over Jaylen Brown.
What?
I got him over Kristaps Porzingis.
The reigning finals MVP? Paul George is better than them.
Yep. I got him over Evan Mobley. I think that's enough by now. Probably most people won't agree with most of what I just said, but that's how high I am on him.
Viewers have brains, so
that's how high
I
am on him. But I just think it hurt his legacy a lot to leave the Clippers and be like. I think one weird thing is that he signed up to be a third option, and now he has to be a second option.
Yeah.
And he's just struggling to get back into that role because I felt he was always a better second option on the Clippers than he has been on Philly. So it's like, I'm not delusional. I know he's gotten worse since he's coming to Philly, but I rated him really highly. I thought if Kawhi was healthy, that team was a title favorite, and people are going to mock them, and they always laugh at that trade or whatever in hindsight because they gave up Shea for him. Yeah. But if that had worked out, everyone would have been riding Clippers for finally getting a ring for that useless franchise. And because that was a great trade, like those were two amazing players, and I don't understand if PG's dealing with injury. I don't know if mentally he just checked out when he even joined, and now we're just seeing that. But yeah, in general, I think people hate on PG way too much. He's a very good player, but not enough this game. Not even close. They just don't have the offensive firepower. They're not making the buckets in transition, and I actually think I'm thinking about it right now. Cam Johnson would be a good fit for the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah, because I think they just need some shooting. If they could have some shooting and really free up Tyrese Maxey, and then that in turn would free up Paul George, I think they go from like play-in, 9th, 10th, 8th seed to probably like 6th, 5th best. And then if Embiid ever comes back and is healthy, it's still an upgrade. He's a better version of an Eric Gordon type. And now you can be like the 3rd best team in the East. Maybe you can upset and be 2nd best. I think there's a lot of upside both in terms of raising your floor and in raising your ceiling by getting someone like Cam Johnson because the offense is just where I'm really struggling with on this team.
Wow. I can't believe I had to sit there for 10 minutes and listen to that. Let's
you
get into it.
You probably think 10 minutes is a long time, don't you?
It is.
Well, that was 8 minutes, so that tells you how...
It's an incredibly long time. But anyways, let's focus on topic. Okay. First of all, I need to say this. For Paul George, Kelly Oubre must really feel like it's the difference between when you're fighting the final boss and the villain to when he's finally on your team. As we know, Kelly Oubre was the bane of PG's existence along with Joe Ingles. Now they're on the same team. Kelly Oubre decides to not play so well. Okay, but all jokes aside, of course, I'm not going to blame Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre, for God's sake. You're one of the most handsome men in the league. Pause.
What? That's how you decide who to blame? By how beautiful their eyes are?
No.
By their nose structure?
Calm down. That's not what I'm saying.
Diddy?
What are you talking about, Diddy, bro?
Because you sounded like him right now. That's how he picked out his rappers. That's how he picked out his rappers.
That's insulting.
That's how you pick out your
Let me make my point. Okay? The 76ers, they were seen as a championship contender coming into the season. I'm not going to blame role player number 5 for the reason why they're not. So let's not get it twisted. Kelly Oubre is not a great player. Everything you brought up, valid. I'm not going to argue it. He's a bum. Thing is, that don't matter. That's not an excuse for why you're outside the play-in in the East. In the East, for God's sake. Like, what are you talking about?
Sure matters.
So why are they trash? Well, first of all, Joel Embiid. I'm not going to blame him, okay? Let's talk about his knees, okay? The issue with his knee is his meniscus. He's torn it 3-4 times, got multiple surgeries. And what does that mean for an athlete's career? They will always be dealing with pain and swelling. It's a continuous, chronic thing that they'll have to constantly manage. Thing is, it seems to get progressively worse. 2 seasons ago, he had enough strength to play enough games so he could win that MVP award. Last season, he tears his meniscus again. He's gone for most of the season. Comes back in the playoffs. Does not look like the same guy. He's throwing elbows, but he's not putting the ball in the bucket the same. He's not defending the same. And this season, it's even worse. The Sixers got him Paul George. Maxi's taking that next level. He's bulked up. He's trying to get better. And he still can't play. Because I'm not saying it's a mental thing or it's his fault. I'm just saying his knee must be getting worse and worse, where a team is looking better than ever. There's more optimism than ever in the city of Philadelphia, and he just can't play any regular season games. Then he gets on the court. He looks pretty good. I will give him that. He's a Kawhi Leonard type player. When they come back from big injuries and they still look good, right? But not the same player they were before the injury, mind you. Kawhi's still not as good as he was. So he comes back, and he gets more injury. He fractures his face. Okay, this guy can't catch a break. So when I look at why a team goes from championship contenders to outside the playoffs in the East, I look at the first option. And I'm not going to blame him per se, but you have to understand it's the reason they suck. Because they don't have their first option. They don't have JoJo. So then I look at the rest of the players. Maxey, I was high on him from the start. I hate watching him as a first option, but there's nothing he can do. He's in a tough spot. Okay, his first option is injured, but when he plays the first option, it's really hard to watch. He had negative 24 for the game. For example, Kelly Oubre had negative 20. So if you hate Kelly Oubre so much, Maxey was looking worse on the plus minus. I know it's a noisy stat, but you can't ignore it. Okay, so Maxey's the first option, not great. I love the 10 assists. I'm not, like I said, not a Maxey hater. The assists were good. I like what I saw on the playmaking end, which really, actually, from Maxey and Joel Embiid, I want to see that improved playmaking. That I really think that can elevate a team when a player is a great playmaker. Joel Embiid had flashes of that, but since he's injured, he can't really develop that passing. Don't expect any playmaking improvements from Joel Embiid. Sixers fans, you're just praying that he comes back and he at least 90% of the player that he once was.
Bro. He's done. I'm saying it right now, Joel Embiid's career's done.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Khan. So what did that tell me? The Sixers, they cannot make the playoffs. It's not happening.
Do you think they can't make the playoffs if Embiid doesn't come back?
No, this team is nothing without Joel Embiid. The win-loss record proves it, and when you watch them, it's the same thing. Maxey's not built to be a first option, and I don't want to see that. It hurts my eyes, hurts my heart. And then we look at Paul George. He did not have a good game. He was bad. He was straight up bad. And yeah, exactly. Talking about being bored. It's just not a good look, Podcast P. I highly disagree with all the players you said he's better than, but I do understand the player he once was. He absolutely was a force. Two-way, really dynamic player. These days we talk about 3-and-D to complement offensively minded stars. Well, PG was one of the few guys who could get it done on both ends, which I do respect for his legacy. But right now, his defense is okay, his shooting is okay, but he's just not that good anymore.
I just think people ignore the good PG games, because what about the game where they almost beat the Knicks? They took it to OT. That was PG.
But Maxey was doing the most.
I would say PG was doing more. I thought PG was
Maxey had a 40-piece, I think. Or that might have been a different game. Yeah, but Maxey had a good game.
I think that was a different game. Yeah. I thought PG was doing a ton in that game to keep him in the game. And yeah, I just think people don't really comment or pay too much attention to when PG pops off, because no one cares about Philly.
And why should they? No Joel Embiid, they're trash.
But they're not trash. I just think it's much like, how the Kings were in the 12th seed, and I was talking about how that roster was in 12th seed level, and now they've started winning. People might try to give the credit to the coach. No, it was just variance. They had bad variance with the old coach, good variance with this one. That's how things go. So Philly, to me, is just on the downside of variance. I think Philly would have more wins than this normally.
Where's the injuries? The Kings didn't have injury. That's why
Jared McCain.
That's why I agree with your variance.
Jared McCain injury. Tyrese Maxey missed some games. Paul George, groin tightness every game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, what I'm saying.
And then they keep bringing Embiid in, and then he leaves again, so it's messing up the flow.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. I agree with you. Sixers are dealing with tons of injuries.
Yeah.
How can you say variance? The Kings, I agree with the variance thing because they were all healthy. There were no injuries to speak of. With the Sixers, they keep missing players. Players are in and out. They're trash because their players can't play.
No, that's cap, bro. That's cap. They're just getting unlucky. They're just getting unlucky.
How do you get unlucky for almost half a season?
Of course it happens. The Kings literally just rattled off like a 9-game win streak. So up until that win streak, people with your mentality who weren't Kings Glazers,
I own Glaze,
probably thought they were bad. But you were over here beating your chest like, Darren Fox is good, guys, trust me.
And I was right.
And I'm just saying, just saying that Tyrese Maxey and Paul George are better than Domantas Sabonis and Darren Fox as a duo. I stand on that. I stand on business. I stand on business. The main issue with this Philly team is the role players are
You're
trash.
standing on a mound of crack.
Kelly Oubre Jr. is trash. Caleb Martin is trash. Andre Drummond is
Caleb
trash.
Martin, you love Caleb Martin. You're switching on him now too?
Yeah, I'm switched
You
on
want
him.
to switch on him?
He low-key got me. He got
You
me.
said you stayed on
He
business.
had me in a trance. Anyways, Yabusele trash. So the issue with this team is the role players. Jared McCain going out hurt
what
us
is
a
it?
lot.
Is it variant or the role players trash? Please.
It's both. It's both.
So it's both.
So
they're
because
not gonna
because
make
the role players are trash, they can't really get any higher than like the 8th seed. But them being like whatever they're in right now, the play-ins, I think.
No, right now they're the 11th seed.
11th seed.
They're out of the play.
Yeah, 11th seed.
They're shacked up with the Nets.
They shouldn't be 11th seed. They should be 10th, 9th seed right now. That's what I'm saying about the variance.
So you see them in the play and you think they can win?
Yeah, I see them in
Is
the
that
play-in.
with or without Joel Embiid?
With Joel Embiid, they're smoking anyone in the play-ins. But I'm saying even without Joel Embiid, I like him versus the Hawks. I like him versus who are some other bad Eastern Conference teams? Bulls, yeah,
The
dude.
10th
Are you
seed.
kidding me?
I mean, the Bulls are the 10th
The
seed.
Bulls are trash. I'm taking anyone over the Bulls. I'm taking my YMCA league if I played in one over the Bulls.
Bro.
Who else is there? I'm not even sure.
Are the Pacers that low or no?
No, I don't think so. But are the Pistons that low? I don't think
Yeah, the Pistons are that low.
Oh, they're that low?
I think they're play-ins.
Pistons might be
7th seed.
Yeah.
The Pistons.
Oh yeah, 7. So Pistons might be better. I'm not sure
So you
on
think
that
the
one.
Sixers can beat the Pistons? Not the Pistons no more.
It just depends how Cade. If Cade keeps improving, then probably no. But if everything stalls out here, then yeah, I like my chances. Also, if Jaden Ivey comes back, I don't think Detroit's smart enough to keep him on the bench. I think they might actually try to give the guy like significant minutes.
He's improved.
Every
this
minute
season.
you give to Jaden Ivey is like Philadelphia's thanking God because now they actually have a chance to win the game. And also if Philly does any trades, because even though it looks hopeless and they only have 15 or whatever wins, if you don't trade for something right now, like what do? You're in such a tough spot. I think your best bet is like keep trying to win, knowing you'll never win the chip, but just try to get to that 4th seed level so you can fill seats. Because right now, Philly hasn't been able to sell out their seats. I've been seeing videos from a couple of their games. It's looking empty.
There's no Joel Embiid. Who you come to watch? I like Maxey, but not a lot of people on the Maxey train.
I think people will come watch Maxey if you're in like the 4th seed area. If you're contending, I think Philly will be okay with it. They won't love it because they're haters. They hate they hate themselves. I mean, Bill Burr has talked about that better than I ever could. But I think you just need to give them a decent team, and they'll respect it. Right now, it's not respectable. It feels like, what are we doing? Our second best player is a podcaster talking about how he's bored of playing center. That's just not good vibes. That's the main issue with this team is the vibes.
Okay, so it went from variance to the role players to now vibes. Am I missing anything?
Yeah, brain. How about that? How about you find that, you absolute Sacramento Kings glazer? How can you stand up for the Kings but don't understand Philly?
I'd be offended.
The box score beast.
I'd be offended if that wasn't clever. So, this guy, he can't make up his mind on why the Sixers are bad. I've given you concrete evidence on why the Sixers are nothing without Joel Embiid.
Go watch Kelly Oubre Jr. and tell me Bronny James isn't better than him. If you can legitimately say he's better than
Oubre
Bronny.
smokes that Nepo baby.
Nope.
Yep.
Kelly Oubre Jr. is a Nepo baby. He's only
What
in
do
the
you mean?
league because he's the hottest dude in the league.
What?
I swear. He's trash. He can't hoop.
Fourth reason.
can't
Eye
pass.
candy. This bro talking about eye candy.
He can't pass. He can't rebound. He can't shoot. He can't play defense. I don't know what he can do.
The only thing
honestly.
he can do is can't play defense. All the other things he can do.
No.
To a degree, better than Bronny James. So I'm gonna leave it there. So before we close the segment, two teams played last night. So I'm gonna talk about the Nuggets real quick. Obviously, they put 140 on the Sixers' head. Big part of that was variance. Julian Strawther. Sorry. He had 23 points on 5 of 9 shooting. That's not happening again. But my boy, Nikola Jokic, the Joker, another MVP performance. 27 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 10 of 15 from the field, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. All in three quarters, as you said. So, once again, more evidence that Jokic is the MVP.
Hey, I just want to mention something. I think it's second quarter. Jokic kicks it to Jamal Murray on the right corner, right? This man launches at my speed. Okay? Paul George is completely behind on the play. He's probably thinking about what he's going to be talking on the podcast. He manages to recover because that's how much more athletic he is than Jamal Murray. And then Jamal Murray just ends up kicking it back out to Jokic, who just shoots a 3 and makes it, which is cheat code. So yeah,
him.
Respect to Jokic.
He worked his shooting mechanics.
No, for sure.
He doesn't stop improving.
For sure. Like I'm with you on the horse guy. But Jamal Murray is looking absolutely cooked. I know he's had a couple of great games, so people have been talking about him. Maybe he's just tired, right? Like maybe he just can't sustain this. Bless you, man. Bless you. You probably think that Jamal Murray's trashness.
Too much BS.
Yeah.
I'm allergic myself.
You trying to take my line?
We share genetics, so
bro,
I can.
Bro,
we share genetics. We share jokes. It's the way it goes.
But I just didn't like what I saw from Jamal Murray, but I guess I will say it does seem sort of intentional. He just doesn't really play the game versus bad teams, and he lets Russell Westbrook be the real point guard. And then when he has to play and he has to actually step up, he sometimes chooses to. But that's my main worry with this team is like which Jamal Murray is going to show up in the playoffs. Because if it's this one that I just saw today, they're not making it anywhere. But if they can get that Lakers Jamal Murray.
Yeah, buddy, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Because I still don't believe in the bench. Like Christian Braun, 8 of 11.
Braun's starting. He just started.
Yeah, no, I know. But I watched him, and I'm telling you, if Kelly Oubre Jr. was replaced by a real player, Christian Braun is going like 6 of 11 or 5 of 11 or 5 of 9. Like,
wait, why are you bringing up Oubre Jr.?
Because Braun
he's still on your mind.
I watched a lot of Braun taking advantage of Kelly Oubre Jr.
Okay,
like
that's what you meant.
That specific matchup is one I wanted to highlight. Like,
I wonder what would happen if Braun was playing Bronny James. I think he might have had a 30 piece.
No, Bronny James would have clamped that boy up. He would have clamped him up.
All right.
Bryce James looking good too. So
I was talking about high school.
No, he's in college now.
Oh, never mind. College freshman. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Bronny James is basically a sophomore.
Bro,
so
you ain't think about any other rookie. You don't make any excuses like that for other rookies.
What excuses?
Scoot Henderson, he's year 2. He's a sophomore in college.
Yeah.
You're like, bench him.
I like Bronny over Scoot. I'm
ending the segment. I'm ending the segment. Guys, Sixers fans.
I like Bronny over Shaedon Sharpe.
Lose all hope. They're not making it to the playoffs.
Portland Trailblazers fan, lose all hope. If y'all didn't know, y'all trash.
We're going on a 3-minute break. We'll be back. We'll be back to talk about our final game from last night. The Toronto Raptors surprisingly beating the Orlando Magic.
Ain't no surprise.